Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to kind of talk about something a little bit different from last week. So I'm going to tell you today an interesting story that I had during my mentorship experience. So at the beginning of my mentorship experience with my first year students, I really struggled a lot to get some good relationships kind of going with my students because they were all really overwhelmed with university, and the whole group dynamic was really uncomfortable for them because they were like, why am I here? Why am I in this group? I don't want to be doing this. They just kind of wanted to do independent work, and it was just not a great time for them at the beginning, and that was really frustrating for me because I really wanted this to be successful and I really wanted them to enjoy their group experience with me. But after 3 or 4 weeks, everyone really started to get comfortable, and so this kind of leads me to my favorite story from my mentorship experience. Okay, so my first very favorite mentorship experience was when I was in the first year psychology class, and we were going into our breakout groups. And so what happened was I had to split up my breakout group into 2 separate groups because they had to do this project for their final assignment. And so to do the project, they had to have smaller groups. And at first I was really nervous about it. I was I don't know if they're gonna get along. And I know when I was in first year, I had a really hard time making friends and connecting to people outside of the classroom. And so when we were there, I noticed that my groups automatically bonded, and a lot of the girls in my group started sharing their Snapchat usernames. I'm not sure if you guys have ever heard of that before, but it's just basically the social media app that you can use to connect with people. And so by sharing their usernames, they all had each other's contact info, and it was a really fun way to kind of get to know each other. And I was just so happy that that had happened because I know that this mentorship experience was going to be very beneficial for them, and it would definitely help them to make friends and connect in university, which is so hard for so many people. So my second favorite moment in my mentorship and learning class was when basically it was actually during one of my breakout groups, and I had this activity planned about classical conditioning. And so what happened was I had my students come up to a board, and they had to kind of put different pictures onto the board about classical conditioning and where they fit and stuff. And so if you don't know what classical conditioning is, basically it's something that occurs in psychology for behavioralism, and it has a lot of different components and parts to it that students often find really confusing. So when I did this activity, at first all of my students were really confused, and they didn't exactly understand the terms that we had laid out. So after a while, my students started to understand them, and they started getting really excited about them. They were like, oh my god, I know. And they were all raising their hands, and they were getting really involved in the activity, and it just made me really happy to see that they had really enjoyed it and that it was actually going to benefit them and their course. And another thing that happened during this activity was afterwards, when it was done, I had a bunch of students come up to me, and we just kind of chit-chatted about the day and stuff, and they all thanked me for doing the activity, and they were all really excited about the activity, which I found was just so awesome and really beneficial to me because they gave me some really great feedback, and it just made me really happy and motivated that I was actually benefiting them.